test tube setup? What's that? Do I need to buy one? If those are some of the questions wandering in your mind right now, you've found the right video. Let's clear up any doubts regarding this amazing ant keeping setup, considered by most ant keepers to be the gold standard of founding ant nests. Let's get into it. Hi guys. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the BRUMA Ants channel. As you saw in the intro, today we're going to learn how to prepare a test tube setup, the first step of every ant keeping journey. The test tube setup is probably the easiest and most effective way for creating a comfortable and safe space for a newly mated queen ant. In a nutshell, the test tube setup is nothing more than a normal test tube filled with water, with a cotton ball dividing the water section from the living chamber. Yeah, it's that simple. In the wild, after mating with a male, the queen starts searching for a small and quiet space, probably in the soil, where she can start to lay eggs. This tiny space is called claustral chamber, and it's the starting point of every ant empire. This simple type of setup creates an environment very similar to the one they experience in nature inside the claustral chamber, replicating the same amount of humidity, space, and light. The test tube setup also gives the ant keeper the chance to see inside the chamber, facilitating the monitoring of the situation and progress of your beloved founding queen ants. But no more talk. Let's see how we can make this very powerful type of ant keeping setup. For preparing a test tube setup, we're going to need a test tube, a pipette, some cotton, and a long stick of some sort. Test tubes come in a lot of sizes. The main factor for deciding which size is right for you is the size of the queen you want to put in there. For most species of ants, a standard size test tube will do the trick. Don't worry if you don't have the exact recommended size for your species, the queen is very adaptable, and will surely lay eggs even in a slightly smaller or slightly larger chamber. When you have your test tube, the first thing you have to do is fill up about half of it with clean cold water. You can do it directly from a bottle, from the faucet, or by using a pipette, just like I am doing. Once you have the water in the test tube, you can then insert a little piece of cotton. To push the cotton ball all the way to the water, you can use a wooden skewer or some sort of plastic tool, like the one I am using. This way the cotton will keep the water from drowning your queen, whilst supplying the chamber with the right amount of moisture. The queen will also be able to drink from the cotton with no problem, eliminating the need for an external source of water. Be sure to wash your hands carefully before touching the water or the cotton. We don't want bacteria and mold to start infesting the nest. If you want, you can make the test tube feel even more similar to a real claustral chamber by wrapping it with some type of dark paper. I like to use tinfoil, which does the job swiftly. If you like the idea of storing all of your test tubes in the same location, I would suggest you check out this other tutorial. In this one, I explain in detail how to make a test tube holder out of cardboard. Just like this one. In the event you mess up the process, or you just need to retrieve the cotton plug inside the test tube, you can take it out by using a pair of long tweezers, like the one commonly used in fish tank setups. Simply insert it inside the test tube and close it, pulling out the cotton ball. One thing I've learned from experience, is that if you put the cotton ball into the test tube very slowly, you will probably end up having some air bubbles between the water and the cotton. To avoid this issue, simply insert the cotton pretty fast, blocking the bubbles from forming. If you are wondering how the ants are gonna breathe, don't worry, there will be sufficient airflow through the cotton for the ants to survive for a very long time. That's it. You just made a perfect test tube setup. If you're new to ant keeping and want to be sure to start this hobby the best possible way, I would strongly suggest you check out this other video. This is a complete and detailed starting guide to ant keeping, explaining everything you need to know to move your first steps in this amazing and underrated hobby. See you soon in another video.